How I foresee it is there is a historical continuum. You see, what is very interesting for me is when we look back at history, when we talk about how the Soviet Union collapsed, right? Or we talk of any major event in history, you will find while there are watershed moments in history, in other words, something appears to be a dramatic change at one point in time, the change did not happen as a one point in time. There was a continuum of forces there. The continuum led to a point where it looked like there was a change, but the change had been happening for a long time. Okay? That is how everything in history happens too. In the field of yoga and how it has been spreading around the world, there is a continuum. And that continuum is happening with the wisdom of God. Okay? If we look back 50 years back, that was the period of time when actually maybe I would say going back like 100 to 50 years back. Okay? 100 years, 50 years back. That was the time when you had mystic people. You know, the Indian mystics, many of them, as you know, they sometimes wear these orange robes, right? So all of these, and the moment you start wearing robes, then you're looking more like maybe a religious personality or something like that, right? So the thing is, you see, in that 100 to 50 years back, in that age of this mystics and maybe religious people, were the people who were bringing yoga and concepts of yoga. From the Indian sense, it is okay because you see, if you look at the Hindu tradition of Hinduism, as I said, it is not one philosophy of God in existence. Each is entitled, you can have many, many philosophies, whatever you want to believe in. And so Hinduism itself is not one religion. At one wise point in time, all the religions that existed in India came together under one band, as if to say religion doesn't matter, believe in whatever you want. Let's all agree on a common thread of coexistence and peaceful living, right? So today, if all the religions of the world came and said, spirituality is the same core, believe whatever you want, live whatever way you want, but we are all one, then today we would call that as Hinduism of the world, okay? In the ancient age, when the big land of India had so many different traditions all over. In fact, in India, there are 33 different forms of worship available. Okay? And the number of philosophies is also quite many. So all of them living together to say they are one religion called Hinduism, that's what would happen if all the religions would come together in the world. So it was the wisdom at that time that brought them together. So in the 100 to 50 years back, it was the age of the mystics who were bringing yoga out. Then that resulted in number of people who started understanding what is the physiological dimension of yoga. So, for instance, a very famous person that you're aware of in the US is somebody by the name of Herbert Benson from Harvard Medical School, of the Benson Henry Institute. Okay? Of mind-body medicine, as they call it, right? So Benson did a lot of research on the TM meditation aspect. What were the physiological changes? Heart rate changes, breath changes, and all of that. Even before that, in India, Swami Kuvalayananda of Kaivalyadham Yoga Institute did all of these measurements. Then, of course, there have been a lot of people who have been doing research and publishing. And within the last few years, and we have one of the presenters over here, Dr. Sadbir Khalsa. He has been also focused on the physiological aspects. And then, of course, another famous name who is highly published is Dr. Shirley Tellis, who has done all the physiological things. These people who have been doing work in the physiological area, they are this has been happening for the last 40 years or so. They are in the fading end. In other words, that is the mature level of evolution. The next phase that I see is where we are going to go beyond the physiological sciences, where we will prove to the world that the current medical science is completely inadequate and it's a baby in front of the traditional knowledge that comes from traditional systems. When I say traditional systems, I can definitely say the Chinese system of medicine and the Indian system of medicine, Ayurveda, are much, much higher level of understanding than modern medicine. But then, even when I say this, I have to say with all humility, there are many other forms of medicine that are available among traditional communities in the world, like maybe in Africa, the American Indians and all of them. They also, I think, had higher level of understanding of the existence and system that goes beyond the modern medical setup. So where do we see it going? We see it in the continuum, where from the physical to the biochemistry, rising beyond into the genetic expression. And beyond the genetic expression, today, the people who work in conventional medical sciences, they will be the first to admit, particularly if the person is a top-notch person. People who are lower down the line, they have systematized ignorance, so they don't know their blind spots. But people who are in the highest level of the fields, they will tell you, when it comes to the immune system of the body and the adaptive system of the body, the amount of knowledge they have is a very small percentage of the knowledge over there. Okay? And you can understand, in the area of genetic expression, the knowledge is only unfolding, right? In the area of the immune system and the adaptive system of the body, the knowledge is very limited. And all of this is governed by the vitality. Today, from a yoga perspective, we understand vitality. But from the physiological perspective, if you say vitality, the only thing they understand is how many calories are there inside your body. And if you look at how much calories we have so much calories in our body, we can lift up a truck and throw it up 30 feet into the air if we can manifest all that calorie in one shot in our hands, right? So the thing is, you see, our vitality is the ability to manifest that energy. That is the vitality. So from a yogic perspective, and traditional perspective, we have a deeper understanding. And the next phase beyond the physiological phase will be to bring this linkage. And actually, I see 3 wonderful people who will be doing it. And 2 of them are already over here. One is Dr. Ulrich Randall, the concept of extracellular matrix. That extracellular matrix is, as you know, we are trillions of cells, right? In between the cells, there is all the fluids and everything that are flowing in. That is the area where all that communication that is happening, that Dr. Ulrich Randall is dealing with. And then the other person who is over here is Dr. Sunil Joshi, where he is talking about the 114 marma points and how they are all connected. The third one, whom you should probably invite to your next conference, is Dr. Kwang Sup So of Seoul National University in Seoul, South Korea. And this man has actually done work to actually physically identify the channels in the system, what you would call as the meridian channels. He comes from the Chinese medicine perspective, the meridian systems. If you put these 3 people together, one South Korean, one German, and one Indian together, that is the beginning point of the next step of where yoga is leading towards. And I hope that, sometime like maybe in another 50 years, we can capture all the vibrations, and we will actually be able to develop an instrument with the right frequency where we can connect with God and talk with God. So that is where yoga can lead to. But I'm not looking over there, but I'm only looking at the next step. And these are the 3 people, I think, who will bring this into the next phase.